It's quite easy to overcut a sequence, make it visually exciting and lose track of what's happening and who the characters are. Where you can't follow action, it's not just action, it's the whole movie you can't follow. Action has to be very carefully planned and conceived. That's Lee Smith, the editor of The Dark Knight and Inception. The thing is, what he's talking about there is, I think, one of The Dark Knight's most painfully obvious shortcomings. Its visual grammar is a mess, and sometimes that results in scenes that are just incoherent. So when I saw that quote about action from the editor of The Dark Knight, I thought maybe I should go back and take a close look at one of the movie's most famous action sequences, and look at it like an editor, and try to figure out what information was being conveyed shot by shot, and what it was that maybe I was missing. Cinema is a matter of what's in the frame and what's out, spoken like a true filmmaker. Because when it comes down to it, a filmmaker has two tools to convey information visually: composition and cutting. Ultimately, everything about the movie, the characters, the story, the emotions, all come down to what is inside the frame, what's left out of the frame, and the associations that are made between different shots as they're all pieced together. Compositions, angles, camera movements, they take on different meanings depending on their relationships with the other shots around them. So something that maybe isn't in the frame, something outside the frame, or something that may happen in the cut between two shots can be implied depending on how the pieces are put together. The big action car chase set piece in The Dark Knight, where Harvey Dent is transferred from city jail to county jail, actually begins here with the Gotham police before any of the vehicles are in motion.
We get this guy to county, he's their problem. Streets will be cleared along your route. So, let's go. Convoy stopped for no reason.
I hope you got some moves, pal.
Okay, so the ground rules have been set up. There's going to be a convoy, and there's going to be no stopping. And even though we don't know where this truck is or who these guys are, we assume that they're eventually going to be part of the action.
He's using you as bait. He doesn't even know if he can get the Joker. He's failed so far.
How do you know what he's thinking?
I do. Anyway, Harvey, this isn't just about you. What about all the people who are depending on you to clean the city up and to do it honorably?
And fast forward through the mushy stuff so we can get to the chase.
This is your life. You can't leave something like that to chance.
I'm not.
Harvey gets into the back of the police van and sits down on the passenger side facing us. A few shots ago we saw a couple of guys in the cab of a truck, and now the visual orientation of this shot suggests that this is probably the back end of that same truck.
You make your own luck.
Now this is our first look at the convoy, or part of it. A black police van followed by two cop cars. Again, we don't know, but we assume, since this is the only truck that we've seen, that it's the one that Harvey's in. This feels like a reverse angle, which would mean that this guy is now sitting where Harvey should be. I'm sorry, the convoy has just gotten started, but already I'm feeling a little bit disoriented. We're cutting away to these flat, static shots that seem to be floating in a vacuum, completely disconnected from the action. What we could really use right now is a simple interior two-shot that would show us which sides these guys are sitting on, where the front and the back of the van is, and which direction we're moving in. Alright, at last we're introduced to all of our major players for this scene. A cop car, a large black van we didn't know was there before, the other black van, and two more cop cars. And a helicopter. And this is my favorite moment when the sound drops out. This little bit doesn't seem to accomplish anything, and why would you cut away from the convoy just when it's getting going?
Wait like everybody else, pal.
The Joker shows up as we knew he would, but his appearance is so brief, it's not really very effective. It would have been much more ominous just to go straight into this next shot.
What the hell is that?
Obstruction ahead, obstruction ahead.
Damn it. All units divert down onto lower 5th. I repeat, exit down. Exit down.
Lower 5th will be like turkeys on Thanksgiving down there.
Another minor quibble. The previous shot sets this up to be a POV shot, and it isn't a true POV shot. If it were, it would have to be from 3 vehicles ahead of here. And that's not such a big deal. I only bring it up because the imprecision of Nolan's camera placement creates some much more serious logistical problems later. Alright, the chase begins with one cop car followed by this black SWAT van, followed by this van, and these 2 police cars. Did I say 2? No, in the next shot there are 3. And a big truck in the other lane. Now the cut to this guy would imply that he's driving the first of the 2 or possibly 3 cop cars, the one nearest the camera. Bye, Mr. Expendable Anonymous Police Officer guy. This is a pattern that's repeated throughout The Dark Knight. We're introduced to people in close-up or medium shot with no context, just a second or 2 before they're dispatched. Oh wait, it looks like the truck took out the second of 3 cop cars. No wonder I was getting confused. Well now, where is this Mr. Expendable Police Officer guy? Ah, he was the first of the final 3 or possibly 2 cop cars. Way over on the left, there's still one back there though. Meanwhile, in the back of the van, the laws of physics continue to taunt poor Harvey. His truck gets rear-ended, but he gets thrown against the passenger side. Or is this the back of the van? Or is it the front of the van? You'd think that he would be looking in the direction from which he got hit, but wherever he is, Harvey knows which way the van is traveling. Why don't we? According to certain traditional rules of continuity, that last cut would imply that Harvey is now sitting on the driver's side. If Harvey and these guys are in the same truck and all we did was cut from the back to the front, then we would expect the camera to remain on the same side of the action. That's the old 180-degree rule. Think of it as if they were all in the same room without the divider between them. When a shot like this is followed by a shot like this, you don't expect that the camera has suddenly jumped across the 180-degree line of action. But while The Dark Knight plays by some continuity rules some of the time, it doesn't do so consistently. Those last 3 shots are actually quite revealing. If we think of this less as a 3-dimensional space than as a 2-dimensional graphic space, like 3 flat comic book frames, then the shots do make a kind of sense. In Flat World, the armored van getting hit from behind simply means it got hit from frame left. Harvey, wherever he is knocked to the right, and so are the guys in the front. Think of it as sensation without orientation. Does this flipping between 3-dimensionality and 2-dimensionality make the chase more exciting, or just more confusing?
Come on, get us out of here. Let's go. Listen, we need backup.
We got company.
Good trouble, guys.
There we are again, absolutely useless SWAT van, followed by police van, followed by garbage truck, followed by cop car.
Lock and load!
We're pretty deep into the chase now, and all of a sudden the driver of this SWAT truck is featured in 2 medium shots spouting 2 cliches in a row. Things don't look good for him. See, there are a few interesting things about this crucial shot. The cut into it reverses the action. It was going from left to right, and now all of a sudden it's going right to left. And then notice the positions of the trucks. The semi is hitting the SWAT van on the front passenger side. Right behind the SWAT van is the police van, and then right behind that is the garbage truck, and maybe or maybe not, there's still a cop car back there. The doomed SWAT guy gets thrown against the driver's side window. But somehow when the van goes into the river, the passenger side is facing the water. And not only that, but the truck is going in the wrong direction. Obviously the semi came from the left in this angle, in which case the SWAT van would have had to have been traveling right to left. This is a mess in 2 or 3 dimensions.